I want to start by saying congrats on the movie. All of you guys did such great work. I knew a lot about Queen, but I really didn't know a lot about Paul until I saw the movie for the first time with the footage. How much did you know about Paul and Freddie's relationship prior to, getting involved?
I knew nothing until I read the script, and then I actually went for a different character originally. I was auditioning for Jim Hutton, who was Freddie's partner until he passed away. And it was only when I read the script, I was like, wow, that's a fascinating person in Paul Prenter. But kind of didn't think about it too much until I then got offered the role and started doing the research. I didn't have any idea that there was this person who had such a strong hold over Freddie's life for a certain period of time. And it was fascinating as an actor to try and figure out what drove him on to do those things.
After seeing the movie, I went and researched a little bit and saw there's footage out there of the two of them at parties, and he's whispering in his ear, and I'm like, oh, the movie totally gets this. So how much footage is there of their relationship, and what did you take away from everything you saw?
I think very much what you've seen is pretty much all that's out there. It's really, really limited. There isn't a lot, and it tends to be in documentaries about Freddie's life and about Queen that you get these little snippets and chances to see who this person was. And what they managed to capture in the movie, which I thought was great, is he always tended to be right on his shoulder. He always tended to be around Freddie, and that's what I tried to get in the movie. Was I definitely watched whatever was being rehearsed, and I was like, where would he be? And sure enough, suddenly he would just, you'd find yourself just over his shoulder, always listening, always trying to control the situation. And that's certainly when you speak to the band, you speak to Brian or Roger, he was someone who loved having that control and would always be around to make sure that he heard something or overheard and could use that against other people. But I think he was also someone who got into a position of power and started to use it in a way that maybe he didn't originally intend to.
I was curious about if you had spoken to Roger and Brian and prior to filming or during filming, and what they told you about him that maybe surprised you, or was it what was in that script?
It's funny actually, Brian only came up to me, I think it was my last day of filming, and he came up and said, I know I haven't said much to you, but you look so like the guy that I found it kind of hard to come up until you were finished. But he said that, having seen the movie and seeing what I was doing, he said he was a character, he was tricky, and they have a lot of resentment for him, for the fact that he kind of shut down a lot of opportunities for them in America because people weren't ringing Queen, they were ringing Freddie, and Paul was answering the phone. So he was controlling that. So there's a lot of resentment there. I'm glad that they feel that I've captured him correctly.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Rami does such a phenomenal job as Freddie. It is like a literal transformation. Yeah. When did you first see him as Freddie? Was it on set? Was it in a rehearsal?
Yeah, it was on set. They were doing Live Aid, which they shot in the first week. And I came around just to meet all the band, and he was standing there. He was in all the gear, but he wasn't doing the voice just yet because he wasn't on stage. But he was there, and he was like, hey man, good to see you. And it was just incredible to watch that transformation every day as well. And then to see the physicalities, because that was just one. Just seeing him in appearance was one thing and mind-blowing. And then when he got on stage and suddenly he just became him in every mannerism, every move, every dance move. And then he'd start to speak and you're like, you knew it was something special.
Completely. There's a great scene with you and him when he's doing Love of My Life at the piano.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about filming that scene?
Yeah, there's the scene between Paul and Freddie where Paul makes an advance on him. It's at this point Freddie hasn't said he was gay, or even probably wasn't sure himself. And Paul goes to kiss him, and then he says, we work together, and that's as far as it'll go. And that was a nod to the fact that there are many stories when you read all the books that whether they had a relationship or not as well.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit and say that I never thought a Downton Abbey movie was going to happen.
Right.
It was one of those things where they talk about it, but I'm like, no way. Yeah. Never going to happen.
Just imagine Maggie going, I'm sorry, what? No, you're fine. Yeah.
But then they're I'm also curious because it sounds like they're bringing a whole bunch of people back. I'm very confused by this thing. So what is the Downton Abbey movie?
If you're talking about Dan Stevens putting out an Instagram saying, I can't wait to go back to work, he did that. And that wasn't fair because there's no dead people coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not the Downton Abbey ghost experience. Yeah. It's not or coming out next Halloween.
Right.
Yeah. Zombie Abbey. So it's very much a continuation of their lives, but on a much more epic scale. Something occurs within the family and other outside sources that makes it go from a TV show into a movie.
See, what I'm curious about is, and maybe you can answer this, a lot of people have heard of Downton Abbey,
Yeah.
but they maybe haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So how does the movie sort of acknowledge, will you have to have seen the show, or do you think the movie is sort of like, you don't need to know anything?
You could come and join the family at the start of this movie and it wouldn't make a difference. But that's what Julian's gift is. Like,
Sure.
it's, like, he has the ability to do that. And if you haven't known those characters ever within 5 minutes of the movie, you'll know all of them.
So have you filmed it, or are you filming?
Filming right now. I was filming yesterday, filmed till midnight last night, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When do you wrap on that thing?
I wrap on Tuesday and then I get straight in the train, I get down and get changed and go to the premiere of this.
Wow. So that's going to be a big day.
It's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
And I really hope all the elements fall together.
I was going to say, and that leads me to my last thing.
Yeah.
This is world premiering at Wembley Stadium,
Yeah.
which is effing crazy
Yeah.
and perfect.
Yeah.
Are you already just like, I cannot believe we're doing this, and what do you expect from the experience? Because I think the crowd might sing along.
I think there definitely will be audience participation. I couldn't believe when I heard that it was opening there. I was just so excited to get this out, being part of this movie and having loved their music since I was a kid. My parents used to play it. Just the opportunity to go to this thing would have been exciting, let alone be in it. So I think there's definitely going to be crowd participation. I hope that doesn't involve me going on stage at the end of it, obviously just to say hi and getting booed by 6,000 people.
Sure. My last question. There's always, I could have watched a 5-hour movie of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hook, line, and sinker into it.
Okay.
Were there any deleted scenes that you were a part of that didn't make the finished film?
Yeah, and there's kind of two really interesting moments. There's one of the whole meatpacking district when you went to Mineshaft, which is part of now Another One Bites the Dust. That used to be separate. And then what used to happen after when they came out of that club was really interesting, but unfortunately that's made the cutting room floor.
I'm very curious. On that note, thank you so much,
Okay.
and congratulations.
Thank you.